I'm absolutely sick of this. I'm itching, my glasses are steaming, and my face is so sweaty. Hi, I'm Vicky, the carpenter's daughter. Now, my last DIY project, I showed you how I installed some attic lights because I need to do a lot of jobs up there and I needed to see what I was doing and where I was going. And that's what I'm going to do today. It's not quite New Year here yet, but I hope you had a great Christmas. Anyway, I've done some more shopping. First of all, I've bought a jacket for my boiler. £22 from B&Q, so I'll be placing that over this, giving a nice Christmas treat. In fact, we'll stick that there for now. We'll do that later. Because I had a lot of old plasterboard to remove and then put some new stuff up, I've got quite a bit of dirt and rubble up there. So before I start insulating, I need to hoover, seal and tape up any air leaks. And I've also got a load of boards to put up there. Now, yes, these are MDF. We won't be doing this today, but these were free and they are very sturdy stuff. And we've got other prep to do, like lag the pipes more. I'm taking on your recommendations, like there is wool lagging already up there. A lot of you suggested foam. We don't want the pipes to freeze again, flood the property. That's what happened before we bought this. Then once we've done that, we need to replace the 100mm insulation that's missing and then top up everywhere with another 200 and then back to the starting point because that's where we need to start thinking about putting some boards. And although this is not a new build, we don't technically have to follow building regulations to get insulation to 270mm. The whole idea of this is for us to improve our EPC rating so then we can be eligible for some grants like ground source heat pump, air source heat pump. Now, a few of you said I was stupid to even consider it, but a lot of you said that I should go for that. I haven't decided that yet, but there's no harm in getting this a lot better so our energy bills are lower in general. Apologies if that's the longest intro ever, but it needed to be said. So I've got this ugly bully suit on, a mask, I've got gloves in my pocket, goggles. I think I've got everything there, I think. Anyway, let's go up. And don't worry, my cameraman's got the same gear on as well. Oh, I'm not looking forward to this. There's a lot to sort out. Now, before I get started, I want to show you a few things that I've bought after watching a lot of YouTube videos. For example, I mentioned the cordless vac, although the suction doesn't seem to be very good, but hopefully that will be okay for what we need. I've got a lot of silicone to fill some gaps. I'll probably use that around the electrical areas. I've got expanding foams for any joins of plasterboard where it feels very breezy. It feels breezy. Ignore those, although we did find a shrew up here and we need to also check any access points. That's something else that we need to sort out. How it got up here, we don't know yet, and that's what we need to explore. I've basically armed myself with a lot of things just in case I don't get on with the silicone and I need to swap over for the expanding foam. I don't want to be moving around all the time. Obviously, that's part of this job. I've also had to buy 2 packs of crawl boards because these are nice and light to move around. It wasn't cost effective, but I certainly couldn't cut a sheet of material in the B&Q car park. This is just for ease. So the first thing I am going to do is cover the pipes. Now, I don't know if you know French, but one of my favourite sayings is trop cher. These boards were £15 for a pack of 3. That is trop cher. I start by hoovering any debris for a dust-free surface for my silicone to adhere to. I've got a big hole here where the cable is, so I'm going to fill that with silicone sealant first, and then I can go to the other end and start putting some pipes around it, because otherwise it'll be a struggle to get to. And then filled holes around the cables or pipes to reduce any sneaky air leaks from rising from the rooms below. But then I thought that was the perfect job to delegate to Mr. TCD while I carried on adding the foam pipe lagging. People are definitely right, working around the eaves is the most awkward job ever. But what I'm doing is just trying to get it over the stuff with the wool on, because I don't want to take it off for the sake of it. I've got it over as much as I can. I'm cable tying it. Oh, and for those wondering why I'm not replacing these pipes, we probably will eventually because we're remodelling the whole house. We just don't have a plan yet. Gotcha. Although that was a short-lived plan because you'll find you'll need a lot more than you realise. If you want to see how I mitered my lagging joins, then I highly recommend watching the first plumbing video that I shared where I needed to do some urgent fixes. link in the description. So yesterday when I was lagging the pipes, I got as far as the header tank just over there and I ran out of foam. So I'm going to have to go out and buy some later to continue over there, but I don't want it to stop me doing the rest of my work. So I've gone back to this point and now I need to know I've got a 50mm clearance between the roof and the insulation. And obviously this is all existing, but you will see, for example, this bit here needs a bit pushing down so we don't get condensation. There needs to be a vent there. So I'm going to have to go all the way around double checking those. I'll be pushing them down and making sure I push them into the wall cavity where they meet. Out of all the DIYs, this is the least fun so far. I don't think I'm going to get any better than that. Put that back. So where I do put insulation back, because I've got a lot to do, I need to make sure it goes underneath the electrical cables to be safe. So if you can see these plywood corner gussets, which go for maybe about 3 meters up there, this is actually the back door where the brickwork comes in. What I just wanted to show you is when I lift this up, there's a cavity wall, or well, a void there with very little insulation. So what I'm going to do, or what I have been doing up until this bit, is tearing some bits up and stuffing them in. Put my mask back on. And hopefully this will keep us a little bit warmer and I can put that back. It's like it never happened. It looks like I've got one more to do here and then I can start putting the 100mm insulation in the area that we plasterboarded the other week. Oh, I need a wee. So now onto my 100mm thick insulation. This is where I plasterboarded the room. And I'm going to start at the eaves area and work my way back and repeat and repeat and repeat. And instead of taking my wrapper off, I know between my joists are about 42 centimetres. So what I'm going to quickly show you is hold my tape measure just there, get a 42 with a handsaw. These are perforated apparently, but I don't know whether it's going to fit to my width. So I'm doing it myself. So that's where I need to be, and I'm just going to do this. It's a workout. Right. There. That's not too bad. Right. I start from the eaves again while working my way towards the loft hatch each time. And while it's like this, I'm meant to agitate it. Then I handsawed the mineral wool to make it more manageable to slot underneath the wood that supports the tension and compression webs, and keep repeating until it was complete. I'm absolutely sick of this. I'm itching, my glasses are steaming, and my face is so sweaty. It is worth noting that the new Knauf stuff was a pleasure to work with compared to the old insulation. Right, so this smaller bit can go towards the end where we know that the joists are narrower. Also, I've found my first perforation line. There's definitely some in it. And the cables are going on top where possible. As usual, I'll leave a link to all the things I'm using below. They are affiliate links, but I do tell you if I think they're crap. Agitate! Oh my God, did I get that right? Oh my word, I got that spot on. Yes. I hope this makes a massive difference, although we're not really going to know until we start investing in radiators and better heating, because we've got 2 radiators that we use and we haven't even used the fire for ages. So for awkward gaps like this, I'm going to just jam some in all the way to the back of the wall plate, and I'm going to try and cut a slither for that and some over there. These noggins are here because I had to put some in because the whole place was plasterboarded before the internal walls went in. Hi all, so I'm on another day. I've been doing bits here and there. I've been out again to get some more foam insulation for the pipes, and now I'm fitting it around the header tank, and I'm going to continue all the way to the back. Then once I've done that, I've decided to go and fill the voids, the chimney voids, with some more insulation, and then we can start putting our 200mm rolls out. And look how cosy my pipes look now. Whoa there, Pickle. You might be wondering how we calculated the area to find out how many rolls we needed to buy in the first place. So I'm going to show you now on my computer. For the missing 100mm base layer, as you can see, this area is roughly about 5 metre by 5 metre, so we're looking around a 25 square metre area to cover. Each roll said it was 11.1 square metre coverage, and with 2 rolls that would be about 22. So when you take into account the area that the joists take up, and the fact that we rounded it up to 25 square metre, we saw no point in buying an extra base roll. For the top-up area, this time we needed the whole roof, and as you can see in the diagram, it works out nicely in 2 rectangles. So to simplify, work out the total area of your loft floor and divide it by the rolls coverage, and that gives the total rolls that you need. So now for potentially the hardest part, to start off in the eaves, making sure I make little notches for the rafters. Once I've worked around the eaves, by the way, I can start working my way towards the middle. But when I start in that corner, I've got this width or depth blocking me being able to get it in the corner. So I'm going to have to unravel it and try and slowly, carefully manoeuvre it over there. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to move quite a few boards, and I might have to get an assistant. So I'm going to open it up, find the starting point and try and shimmy it over there. And you'll notice as well that all of the pipes are now lagged. I've put them to bed. It's 200mm, by the way. We could have gone for a minimum of 170, but we just thought, why not? And it was Black Friday. We got 15% off, which brought it down to the 170 price anyway. I wouldn't want to do this for a living. After unrolling it a little, I tried to align it with the wall to keep it straight so it didn't go off track while unravelling. But rolling it out while as close to the eaves as possible was such a battle, so I had to just do my best and ditch the idea of cutting notches out for the rafters. Well, at least they're not blocking any ventilation. I'd love to know which is the start of it when I unravel these. Ow! Do need a bump cap. I've seen some people get quotes for £2,000 to do this, but to be honest, as much as I am struggling, I would absolutely still do this myself rather than pay that kind of money. After that first row was done, Mr. TCD rolled out the new one towards me, and we continued all the way around until meeting it in the middle. Oh! I'll tuck it in a bit over here. I think this is what boot camp probably feels like. It's hard lugging everything around. Now, with this being such a big bungalow and a lot of work to do in the attic, Mr. TCD worked equally as hard. So I've gone around most of the place. I'm now at my chimney voids. I'm going to stuff some down there, some bits that we've got. So just shove that down there. Certainly got a few scraps. It's been a few days since we've actually done anything in the attic because we've realised, well, first of all, I was coming down with a cold. And my husband had one too, and we just wanted to relax a bit and put the remaining bits of the insulation down in the centre, although we will board it later, to get the EPC rating done first. So we've actually got a man coming tomorrow to double check our work. The EPC rating for here actually states that there's no cavity wall insulation, and that isn't true. And we need to be able to point him in the right direction to have a look. So before we start getting really itchy up there, because it's not my favourite job, we're going to install this cylinder jacket around our cylinder to hopefully prevent any heat loss. So yeah, we'll give it a little Christmas treat. So it's meant to come in 4 parts with mineral wool inside it. So I've just had a quick look at the instructions and I've got to unroll them, shake them about a bit and leave them for a few minutes for the insulation to expand. In fact, it's already, can you see it? It's growing a little bit. Thread the cord through the eyelets at the top of each panel and tie together so the cylinder dome is fully covered. Do not pull too tightly. Is this just too tall? No, it isn't, is it? Yeah. So after going through all the stuff, I found the tiniest shoestring ever on the floor, and I realised, that's for the top. So I've put all of my fixing straps at the side, which is really ribbon, flimsy ribbon, and there's 4 there. So I'll be tying those around the body of it. So I'm now going to thread this through the eyelets of the top on all 4 panels because they're now in situ all the way around my cylinder. I'm making sure that the cables are sat on top and I'm not covering the pipes. If I can go like that, I might be able to go like that. Okay. So I've got those. Now I need to tie it in a knot. So now it's tied at the top. I'm threading all the ribbons towards the back. It might look like I'm trying to tie it too tight, but because I'm putting it in a bow, by the time I've relaxed my hands a bit trying to get it in a bow, it's going to slack a little bit anyway. That's why I'm doing it like this. Apparently you're not meant to have it too tight because you need some air to be trapped in there. So now we've put our cylinder to bed, we need to lift another 4 rolls of insulation that we bought up into the attic and just finish it off. Now we did use up 26 200mm rolls that we'd ordered, and we thought actually it was touch and go whether we were gonna use them all, but this is just in case, just to add a little bit here and there, particularly where the tension webs are, where the insulation doesn't quite meet, so we're going to overlap it in various places. This isn't as easy as the last one. Jesus. So I'm going to cut it again to 400mm wide, so we can slot it over there. And once I've cut that down into sections, I then need to cut it down into smaller strips. So it's not going to be fun or easy, but it's got to be done. Now I'm done. You want me? No. So now I've cut the whole roll into strips. I need to cut it into 1 foot square pieces. So I'm bunching it together. I've got this solid surface underneath me, so I don't have to worry about cutting a cable. And I'm just going to saw like that. And keep repeating, this is so much easier to do than tearing it. So I'm making a bit of a mess, and I've had to peel back some of the insulation because when we spoke to the EPC man over the phone, he said he wanted to actually see the cavity wall for himself. And I know there's a bit here that I discovered while reaching my hand over in the very early days of me plasterboarding downstairs. So yeah, I've just been pulling this back with an old spirit level just so we can see properly. And I'm going to leave this exposed until tomorrow at 10:30 when he arrives. And I think I've done. I think we've got enough now. We just need to get the EPC rating sorted. We can then be eligible for some government grants and think about putting some boarding in. Also note, it's not recommended to put it below your header tank to allow the heat to rise up and prevent it from freezing. Although I'm not sure how vital it is, so we've put it down for now and we may remove it. Let me know in the comments if you think I should definitely remove it. By the way, while we were exploring up there, we couldn't find any obvious access points for that shrew we found before Christmas. So I've no idea where it came from. But it's been about a month since we topped up all of our insulation to 300mm, and we've definitely noticed a difference. It's been about 2 degrees warmer than it was before, and we've had loads of freezing weather and quite a few storms recently. And the great news is we've not needed to use our gas heater as much or our electric heaters, because don't forget, our very first electricity bill was over £400, and it was a shocker. And it's that kind of money that motivates you to do this kind of job in the first place. And all the weeks that we've been leading up to this, it's more accessible to explore. It's just, well, it looks like a sleeping bag round here. So if you want to see how we got on with our EPC rating, then stay tuned for next week. And I'm also going to show you how I install some important shelves up here. And then we've got so much more to do around the house. In fact, it's a lot colder up here now. But if you want some more tips and tricks, I've written a whole in-depth blog post. I'll leave a link to that below. Catch you in the next one. Bye.